First spear gun when I was 13. I used to take the 5 car down the 5th and Maple. I'm a 13-year-old kid, going all the way downtown Los Angeles to work in the summertime. It's kind of exciting. My brother met people like Don Dotson, Bobby Kimes. These were engineers at Northrop Aviation. They came up with some new inventions of spear guns. And I was a young kid. I saw this stuff, CO2 guns with big tubes in the back. And it had a CO2 cylinder on it, and you could have multiple shots. But you shoot that gun, and all you had is bubbles in front of you. You could never see where the spear was going. But beautiful workmanship. I mean, the engineering that went into this was fabulous. Also, this Don Dotson came up with a underwater camera housing that was backed by the U.S. Navy. It was a 16-millimeter gun camera off a kind of camera they use on airplanes. It had a 50-foot magazine, or 100-foot magazine, I guess, load on it. And John was given one of those cameras. I think they made 5 of the cameras for the contract. And in younger days, I was playing around with the camera or diving. Going back to Skin Diver magazine, Jim Ogsier and Chuck Blakesley. Chuck Blakesley invented the Barracuda spear gun. It was a CO2 cartridge, screw-in cartridge. He had a single cartridge and he had a double one. And I know my brother was a tester on that spear gun, testing that spear gun out. And he was able to shoot white sea bass with it and quite a few other fish. I'm just trying to think of some other things here to talk about. Oh yeah. I got into competition in 1953, and I was 15 years old, and this was the Boys Club of Laguna Beach started the spearfishing contest. And so my brother got me and my buddies at junior high school, all 3 of us got together and entered the contest with my new French standard arbalete spear gun. I was a little terror with it, shooting opal-eye and a few calico bass if I was lucky. And so I entered that contest with my 2 of my buddies, and we got trophies. It was exciting. I got excited about it. But then next year I couldn't enter the contest because I was 16 years old. I was too old for the juniors. So we were called the Sea Cubs, our first club. And then when we became 16, so I didn't dive the next year in competition, so I went down to San Diego with my mom rented a place at Ocean Beach, San Diego. And we did that for about 3 years. And we would go down there, and I did a lot of diving. I lost a lot of weight. I was kind of chubby when I was 14, 15, 16. I trimmed down, and I was in the water every day. Figure a whole summer down at Ocean Beach. Ocean Beach, now you guys know San Diego pretty good because this is San Diego. Ocean Beach today, I don't think is real clear water. But back when I was 16, right where the pier is today is where I would go diving, right out there in the front. Crystal clear water, really clear, beautiful. And there's all kinds of fish out there. I mean, there's guitar fish on the bottom, there's halibut, and there's all kinds of small fish swimming around. I remember went out there with a buddy of mine, black sea bass was in there. He had a little spear gun, he shot the black sea bass, and the spear just bounced off him. But there was all kinds of fish life there. And then I used to dive the flood control. For those that know the San Diego area, there's a flood control next to the Mission Bay jetty going out. And really got a lot of halibut there. In the flood control, there was a small area where the high tide would come in and clean the water out. And it was pretty clear in there at high tide. And I'd go out there and pop these halibut and bring them back to the lifeguard tower where my brother was working. He'd stick them in there, and then I got into night diving. I remember a big concrete drain pipe was in the middle of the channel out there, and looking inside, this huge lobster just inside there, way back inside the tube. My brother John also got very involved in scuba diving equipment. He purchased from CNET Manufacturing Aqualung, or it was a Canadian liquid air company with the Aqualung name on it, made in Canada. And he had quite a bit of experience. I remember going to Westwood Village. This is the only dive store around. Westwood Village was Renee's dive shop. Renee eventually brought in the Aqualung to the United States. And he was a seller of the Aqualung. But going back to CNET Manufacturing Company, they had the opportunity to have the Aqualung, and they just didn't think it was going to go, I guess. I don't understand that at all. But anyway, Renee started U.S. Divers with a group of other people. And Robert Bruins here, who works for Aqualung, he probably could tell you more about how that arrangement worked out. But I remember meeting Costeau. Costeau came to Renee's shop, and they showed his underwater films using the Aqualung, and also they were pretty good spearfishermen. And people don't put Costeau and spearfishing together, but believe me, they did a lot of spearfishing. And had these underwater videos showing him shooting fish, and of course diving, all the different wrecks. This is not the films you saw on television. These are films that were made by the early people with Aqualung, or U.S. Divers as it was then when they first came in. Anyway, my diving started going up in competition, and I'm not going to get into the competition too much because there's people here that can talk a lot more. But I thought I did pretty good during my era of competition. I started 53, and I think in the 70s when I kind of backed out of it and got into game fish diving. Most of you guys know me as Riffe International, manufacturer of spear guns and diving equipment, which is a family business.